good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari, and we are actually at the cusp, at the very doorstep of the annual month of Ramadan. And of course, as we saw in the case of the other religious festival, the Easter festival, you know, in COVID-19, it definitely was different. We have no reason to believe that it's going to be different this time, but we shall be speaking with Islamic scholars and to see how do we sort of maneuver our way within the 30-month Islamic festival, is it? It's an obligation, actually. And we're very happy that Sheikh Abdul Rahman Ahmad, National Missioner and Chief Imam of the Ansaruddin Society of Nigeria, could join us. Good morning, Sheikh.
Good morning, Yuri. How are you?
Very well, thank you. And we also have on the phone Dr. Ismail Musa. He is Chief Imam of the University of Lagos Muslim Community, and he will be with us on phone. So we actually will be able to talk with both gentlemen together. So good morning, Dr. Musa.
Good morning.
Thank you very much.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. And I hope you're well too.
Fine.
So, okay. Now, coming back to you, Sheikh, the challenge that Muslims will be facing this time around is that there's never been a Ramadan like this. First of all, they will have to know what to do differently, especially as as we've just heard from the presidential briefing, we're in what they refer to as the community transmission phase, which probably has to do with gatherings being highly discouraged. Yet, Islam is ordinarily a congregational religion. How would you advise, adherents, the faithful, to conduct themselves?
Thank you very much, Yuri. As far as Islam is concerned, well, it is in a very long time, not in recent memory, we had a Ramadan like this without the congregational prayers, without Taraweeh, and so on and so forth. Religion, Islam is a communal religion. It brings people together. But however, we have enough guidance within the Sharia of Islam to not only relate with this, but to properly accommodate it. In point of fact, Ramadan started as a private thing. In the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there doesn't used to be congregational prayers the way we know it now, the way we do it now. People fast as individuals, they will pray Taraweeh as individuals or families. And it continued like this up until the time of, Khalifa Abu Bakr, the first Khalifa. It was only during the time of Khalifa Umar that things changed and we have, Taraweeh the way we're having it now. But, over and above all these considerations, the most important thing, the principle of Islam is the preservation of life. It is called hifsun nafs. And, it takes precedence over all the other things. It's a principle of Islamic law that, the prevention of harm takes precedence over the acquisition of benefits. And when we are faced with situations like that, and the guidance of the Prophet when he said, La dharara wa la dirara, don't cause harm to people and don't suffer harm from people. The Quran has told us, do not use your own hand to bring destruction upon yourself. وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى التَّهْلُكَةِ. So all this combined together will make it easy for us to accept, and it even becomes compulsory. Anyone who attempts to congregate now will be committing a sin, and that will not be acceptable to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala.
Thank you very much, Sheikh. Let me
Beautiful
speak with Dr. Musa. You are in the academic community in the University of Lagos there, and we just heard that, look, scholars, you know.
I'm not able to hear you clearly.
Okay. I was just saying, did you hear the Sheikh? You can't hear me clearly either. Okay. We'll fix that. Switching back to you, Sheikh, the scholars, the educated elite, students of Islam, they know all of this that you've just, explained to us again. But what are your thoughts on there being some, shall we say, traditionalists who, quite frankly, might not appreciate that from time to time knowledge changes and that this is the recommended behavior that we have. You hear people still giving, relating bad information, saying that there is nothing like that, which of course is coming from ignorance. Yet they are part of the faithful and can be quite dangerous. Not the body of the faithful probably are aware of this, but the ordinary faithful who are so traditional that they just refuse to follow. Are you sure that enough work of sensitizing them has been done by the enlightened clerics?
Yeah, the work of sensitization is ongoing, is dynamic. It can never come to an end. Not everyone will understand. Not everyone will choose to understand. Some people will understand and accept. Some people, out of ignorance and obstinacy, will still not accept. But you see, this is about, public safety. It's a public health issue.
It is.
It is not it is not a democratic choice, because one infection could, spiral into hundreds of infection. So no one should be allowed to endanger the community. Unfortunately, it is not entirely about persuasion, especially when there are individuals or group of individuals who are trying to endanger the community. So while sensitization, campaigns will be ongoing, it is the responsibility of government, and they have the backing of the religious establishment to crack down on those who continue to be recalcitrant because they are a danger to public health. As far as the provision of religion is concerned, especially Islam, it is very clear. It is very clear, and there is unanimity of opinion on this across the Islamic world. It is not a Nigerian phenomenon. It is a global phenomenon. And, that's what makes it easy. You can see it for once, the haram, in Mecca and in Medina are closed to the public. The Vatican is closed. This is something that is unprecedented, especially in recent memory. Maybe in 1918, 1919, 1920, Spanish flu, maybe something like this happened. I'm sure none of us knew. None of us were alive unless we read in books.
I wonder how much modern technology can come into all of this. And let me switch to Dr. Musa in case if the line has got better. Dr. Musa, can you hear me in... well, okay, I got my answer right there. Dr. Ismail Musa, it looks like we still have one or two challenges that are going to be sorted out quite soon. Switching back to you, Sheikh, the advent of technology, we are again in an era that we've never been in before. Well, in recent, we simply haven't been in it before. But also technology. Look at the first major religious festival that we had since COVID-19 was Easter, and we saw how technology came into that. Now, by which I mean, we saw Rome, and we saw how it was absolutely, totally different from the way it used to be. Now, people are bringing in either Skype or Zoom as technological aids. Is there any hope that in certain centers that might be deployed. I think I was reading the papers the day before yesterday or yesterday that a church in Lagos has actually conducted its first wedding ceremony via Zoom. What are your thoughts on technology coming into this, at least in the urban areas?
There are areas that technology could come to the rescue. And there are areas that I want everyone to understand. Be able to uh, uh, be closer to our family members. For instance, the daily prayers, we can do that through technology.
Okay.
The Taraweeh prayer, we can do that.
Let's see if Dr. Musa is online live. Dr. Musa?
Yes.
Okay. It looks like it's better. Actually, I was just, you in your community, a highly enlightened community, the University of Lagos, we were worrying or wondering about some faithful, members of the faithful, actually going against all the modern facts, going against modern thinking about safety in an era when community transmission is reported to be, on the ascendancy at the moment. Now, wanting to keep on doing things the way they've been doing it, Sheikh Rahman Ahmad was just saying that, well, things are different and that the problem of sensitization is an unending one. Your thoughts on that as well, please.
Well, the Sheikh was right in his submissions. At the University of Lagos, we do not have problem of misperception as to what COVID-19 is all about. We are well aware of it. We know the implications of it. We know how serious it is. And we are unanimous in our position, in spite of the fact that academics generally thrive on disputes. But on the issue of COVID-19, we are unanimous about the seriousness of the situation, and we agree entirely with scientific facts.
Yes, but communities, Dr. Musa, communities such as yours are not the problem. The problem is the vast majority out there that might not be literate, at least in terms of modern day English or whatever. They might be literate in Arabic, and some might not be literate at all, and so cling to their age-old ways that have been handed down from their great-grandfather to their grandfather to their father, and here they are. They're in far-flung posts, but I dare say I wouldn't be surprised if they make up the majority, the crowds that we see when there's any Islamic festival. The intellectual community will probably be minuscule among them. That probably is the more worrisome community.
Well, thank you very much. We are all members of the larger society. We can observe what goes on around us. We can see clearly that many people are ignorant about the seriousness of the pandemic. They move about, they do all sorts of things, and what that means is that there is a defect or deficiency in their knowledge and in their education, especially as far as the seriousness of the situation is concerned. I think apart from developing vaccines and other medical measures that are geared towards ending the pandemic, I think one of the most important things which we need right now in our country is awareness. People are not aware about the dangers involved in their attitude, in their behavior, and we need to do something quickly about that.
Because they might constitute themselves a danger to other people.
Of course. In fact, that may render whatever government is doing and every other person ineffective.
Okay,
so
tell you what, Dr. Musa.
Something about it. We need to reach out to the people
Dr. Musa,
in the language they understand.
I'm gonna have to go on a break now, but I do implore you, Dr. Ismail Musa of the University of Lagos, as well as Sheikh Rahman Ahmad, National Mission of Ansarudin Society of Nigeria, to please stay with us, and we'll rejoin you when we come back from the break. Okay, welcome back, and we have with us, technologically that is, Sheikh Ahmad Abdul Rahman Ahmad, National Missioner and Chief Imam of the Ansarudin Society of Nigeria. Thank you very much, Sheikh, for being with us. We also have on the telephone, that is Sheikh is on Skype, and we have on the telephone Dr. Ismail Musa, Chief Imam, University of Lagos. And to stay with you for the moment, Dr. Musa, we were, hearing from the Sheikh how in these different times, and indeed difficult, in these different and difficult times, the congregational aspect of Islam, how it could be managed. And the Sheikh was, he touched on the fact that, well, it is in times like this that you probably can be a lot closer to the family. But it was in relation to the traditional congregational prayer every evening, and indeed, especially so in every evening of the 30-day fasting period. That challenge there, people will have to get used to it. You urban elite, no problem there. But far-flung territories of the country where Muslims populate, that's something they're going to have to get used to. That because they might say that, look, the Sheikh was emphasizing family, but how do people be discouraged that, look, don't think that you can do it with people on your street or your neighbor on the left or your neighbor on the right. The whole idea is to isolate as much as possible. Do you think that's going to be a challenge?
Well, we need to go back to the Quran. We need to go back to the guidance of Allah. Once we work with the guidance of Allah, we will not have any issues at all. Allah says in the Quran, "Ati'u Allah wa ati'u Rasula wa ulul amri minkum." Obey Allah, obey Allah's messenger, and those in authority. If we are able to obey this set of entities, we will not have problem of whether we need to observe our congregational prayers, the way we used to do before the lockdown. Nothing has changed in terms of observance of Ramadan. The major thing there is to fast between dawn and sunset. That is what is obligatory. Whatever comes after is voluntary. It is not obligatory. The Taraweeh prayers, they are voluntary prayers. They do not need to be said congregationally to establish its validity. Mm-hmm. You can observe it alone. You can observe it with your family congregationally. So there is no issue concerning that, except if we just want to do what we like. And in this case, unfortunately, you cannot just do what you like.
Indeed.
You have to follow the guidance of Allah, which has said that you should not harm yourself, you should not harm other people. The Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in fact, was one of the first people to advocate restriction in the case of epidemics. He said, stay where you are if there is an epidemic. Okay. He restricted movement. And furthermore, even the adhan is modified in times like this, so that when you do the call to prayer, you add to it, pray in your homes. Pray in your homes.
Okay, an additional line will be added.
Will be added at the end of the normal text. Sallu fi buyutikum. Pray in your homes. So the religion of Islam is quite categorical when we are faced with the kind of situation we find ourselves.
Okay.
So,
All
except
right.
we decide not to follow Allah or follow the Prophet or those in authority.
Which no Muslim is going to sign up for, you know. Coming to you, Sheikh, we've been concentrating, perhaps rightly, on the religious or the practices that, you know, are religious in nature, connected with the Ramadan fasting period. But how about the domestic areas as well? That's crucial. Women, children, you know, sourcing foods, palliatives come into play. People have been complaining that these are tight times, we don't have enough to eat. What are your thoughts about that whole area, Sheikh? Especially women folk sourcing materials to come back home, do the needful, so that the family can indeed have an easygoing fast? Or should all Muslim families gear up for something of a challenging fast in this period?
Well, it's such a way that this had happened, but you see, like it's very paramount about making the Ramadan enjoyable and very easy. Um, well, there are two ways to it. Number one, the month of Ramadan is the month in which we give the most charity, especially to the less privileged. But then that has also to change. It has to change in the method we deliver some of these things. We got to be innovative, be productive, and we have to do it in such a way that the honor of the person that is receiving it will remain intact. For instance, if people used to go to your house to break their fasts, you can monetize this. It is more honorable, it is more safe, it is safer for you, it is safer for them, it is more secure. And when I emphasize the family, I am assuming that there is no one within the family that is self-isolating,
Yes,
uh,
yes, yes. That's another
or
matter.
that has, yes, that is the underlying assumption. There is no one within the family that is required to self-isolate, and there is no one within the family that is exhibiting symbols of illness within the family. Then the person will have to remain in his fast alone or her fast alone, as the case may be.
I think it froze up a bit there, but it might loosen and Sheikh might start hearing us again. Sheikh, what's the condition over there? Are you able to hear us still?
I'm hearing you very clearly.
Okay. Thank you very much for where you got to there, because this now reminded me of certain aspects of the Ramadan fast that might excuse people, for instance. Maybe you would enlighten on this. One is not obliged, if one was feeling poorly, to continue with the fast willy-nilly. Could you enlighten there? Because people have to do their best to take care of themselves. It's nothing new in Islam, but are there special concerns in this unique period with people who might be feeling or have suspicions? Because you touched on, if Muslims that were not obliged to self-isolate or anything like that.
There is published now a WHO protocol in relation to the Muslim fasting of the month of Ramadan. Uh, you think is that for those who are healthy, who have no issue, underlying, issues, underlying condition that would ordinarily not, make them to fast. What are these underlying conditions? Number one, those who are sick, either they're sick from COVID-19 or malaria, or they're sick from other things, has compromised their health. They're excused. If they're able to, they could do fidya. Fidya means that feed someone, uh, uh, in lieu of the fasting that you're not able to.
Okay, it froze up a bit. Coming over to you again, Dr. Musa, would you like to pick up the thread that the Sheikh was on, which is underlying conditions, one's health arguably must be in top shape if you're going to really be able to coast through your fast properly. But in these times when people might feel poorly, the Sheikh was, if you heard him, he was explaining that there are exceptions, but that area, and especially as it concerns our aged folk, are they obliged to, and in these challenging times when they can't have their loved ones around them as before, because these things are now different? Would you like to speak briefly on that area, please?
Yes. The aged are excluded if they are so weak that they may not be able to withstand the implications of fasting. They are given the concession of feeding the poor. They may not fast at all. They may feed a poor person
in lieu of them fasting themselves.
Fasting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This is the way it has always been.
It is called the rukhsah.
Okay.
It is called rukhsah in the Sharia. But the others, somebody who is temporarily sick, yes, can suspend fasting for now.
Yeah.
But thereafter, after the month of Ramadan, he can pay back the number of days that he has missed.
Okay.
The same goes for the pregnant woman or the lactating mother, or even somebody who is on a strenuous journey. And can suspend fasting.
Sheikh, I beg your pardon, Dr. Musa, we have people who are recovering from, COVID-19. Arguably, the immunity system might still, need beefing up and that kind of a thing. Are those kind of people obliged to engage in the fast as well, or, how do you see that area?
The first critical point here is that they need to follow medical advice. They need to follow the instruction of the experts that look after them. But certainly, they will not be violating any aspect of the Sharia if they are not able to fast as a result of their health condition. They will not be doing it. Allah is very clear about it in Quran chapter 2, verses 184 and 185. So they are not obliged to fast.
Okay.
If they are interested, they should discuss this with the medical experts, and they should follow the instruction of the medical experts.
Well, I want to thank you very much, Dr. Ismail Musa, Chief Imam of the University of Lagos Muslim Community, for reaching us and sharing our insights with us. We do wish you a happy fast.
Thank you very much.
Indeed. So we still have the National Missioner and Chief Imam of Ansaruddin Society of Nigeria with us on Skype. No doubt, Sheikh, those questions I asked, especially our aged folk, he explained to us how they can, in lieu, maybe feed, someone, but also it won't be the same, because usually our aged folk, depending on where you are at, they used to have people around them, but now, in times of self-isolation, it can be a bit tough fathers might not have their children around them if they didn't live together earlier. So same with mothers and grandmothers and maybe great-grandmothers. So these are going to be challenging times, but nothing is undoable, right?
Yes, you see, in the Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed fasting, there is a verse, and that is called the verse of ease. Allah says, Allah wants for you ease. He doesn't want for you adversity, difficulties.
Okay.
So we do what is difficult. We do what is possible. We do, what we could be able to do for us. Are not doing anything that amounts to full act of willful disobedience. So for our senior citizens, men and women who are in the kind of condition that you have just described, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful unto them. For those who can, feed in lieu of feed a poor person, in lieu of the fasting that they miss, they should do it. For those who could not do it, Allah is merciful. He doesn't want difficulties for them. So, but you see, unfortunately, this is a time that we cannot go to see them because they are more vulnerable. So maybe at the community level or at the level of the government, particular attention should be paid to those who are aged.
Indeed.
In terms of
Sheikh,
yeah.
could I interrupt you for a moment, please? Because Mr. Adeshina has called in from the UK, and you can also listen to his question. Good morning, Mr. Adeshina.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. Thank you for this good job you're doing.
Good morning, sir.
At this critical time.
Thank you.
I would like to say Assalamu alaikum to our Sheikh and the Imam from Unilab for this good job.
Yes.
My question goes straight to our father, Sheikh. Our brother from the north, what are they doing about this gathering? Because, our brother from the north, they have a kind of, putting a culture to the Islam. So what government, and most importantly, the Supreme Council, what are they doing in communicating with our brother from the north? Because COVID-19 is real. And
well, Mr. Adeshina, Mr. Adeshina, weren't you with us from the beginning of the program? Because these are areas that the Sheikh has already gone over, unless we went together from the very beginning of the program. But I'll let the Sheikh be brief in maybe responding. Yes, sir.
Uncle Yori, what I'm actually talking about is about the communication to the northerners. That's what I'm asking, so that they can know.
The Supreme Council for Islam has already spoken, but I'll let the Sheikh answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Sheikh, you heard the question.
Yes. And I think you have done a good job answering the question. The Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs has already issued directive, to this fact. And, come to think of it, COVID-19 has become a level of a kind. It doesn't discriminate between people, between regions, between status, between anything. It affects anyone. What we just want to, and I can assure you, there is enough reason for our brothers in the northern part of the country to comply. Just yesterday, a number of imams who were arrested in Kano who are violating the lockdown order. So this is what the government should do because they are in a position to do it. Like I established, this is not about democracy. Unfortunately, we have limited choices. Whether your conviction allows it or not, you can put the rest of the community around one infection, to get the whole community, the whole town, the whole state infected. So, and the Nigerian Supreme Council, which only has advisory powers, had done guidelines.
And I would imagine, Sheikh, as we wait on another call. in fact, okay, another call has come in. Mazio Korafo from Arochuku. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Sheikh. Good morning, Imam. I congratulate our Muslim brothers and sisters as they commend the Ramadan. And my question to the Sheikh, I'm very, very happy because the faithful believe any statement issued by the Sheikh. Is that because I see how, because there was a day, just 3 weeks ago, I was with one man, I was just telling him, say, don't want to come and say, no, the Sheikh said so. I said, I'm very, very grateful that you believe what the Sheikh said. So I want the Sheikh too to tell all the religious leaders the 7-point agenda for this. But my question now is this: if one is sick, and what I mean by sick, he has an ailment that the doctor said take this medicine 4 times in a day. And sometimes you see people now, they would like to skip off the instruction of the doctor. They said that Allah will take care of everything. But the doctor said, take these drugs 4 times. They only take that
okay,
money
Mazi,
and went in the night.
the
2 times.
Mazi, we got your drift. Let's get the Sheikh's response. We got your drift. Thank you very much, Mazi. Okay. Sheikh, as far as I know, a non-Muslim, but he wants to know what if there are strict, because Dr. Musa did say that we would have to be guided by experts and professionals. So how would a patient relate to medical instructions?
Oh, yes, if I get the question, because it was breaking, the audio was breaking. But if I get it correctly, you see, I've established the paramount's of the preservation of life. It comes first and foremost. And, people are advised not to become a Rambo. They should not be on God what he has absolved himself of. He has given us the knowledge and the capacity to take care of ourselves and to make choices in situations like these. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us options. If you cannot, pretend to trust Allah, Allah will take care of everything because I'm trying to serve him. If I fast for his sake, he will preserve me. One will be guilty because one is stupid. And Allah does not love stupid people. He doesn't want stupidity. He abhors stupid people. We should use our brain because Allah has already given us, he has made enough allowance for us.
All right. Thank you. Jibuno, if I got the name right, is also, okay, Jugunu, calling in from Kaduna. Yeah. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well.
Yeah, my question to the Sheikh is, most of the Muslims that are praying during the Ramadan period. Now, how can we cope up? Because most of the governments were already locked down in the house. How can you cope it? Because most of them during the break fasting, most of the government they cannot allow even to call a prayer. How can you make it now? Thank you so much.
Okay, Mr. Jugunu, we'll go over it again. The Sheikh has touched on this, but no doubt, I'm sure he will not be tired. Sheikh.
Well, you see, Islam is about personal responsibility. We are responsible as individuals to Allah for our religious observances. So, stay at home and pray. You will earn the same reward, and don't be lazy. This is a challenge to each and every one of us. And these are the exigencies of the time. Don't be lazy. Get encouraged. Get inspired. Do what is right. We have applications that tells you the times of prayer, when to break the fast, when to stop eating sahur, when the time of zuhr is, and so on. And we have all these. You can even,
Forgive me for interrupting, Sheikh. Time is not on our side. Thank you very much, Sheikh, for
That's right.
going over it again. And indeed, we were interjections from the turkey in the backyard there is pointing, no doubt, to a successful conclusion of the fast, while we know at least some of the things that shall be available. So thank you very much, Sheikh Abdul Rahman Ahmad, National Missioner and Chief Imam of Ansarudin Society of Nigeria. Thank you, sir, for joining us on the program. Okay, so that's our program now, and please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. You no doubt heard the turkey continually telling us that this is going to be a successful fast in spite of all the challenges. I'm Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.